Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome to Heart podcast. In this podcast, we slow down and have genuine conversations about the things that touch our lives, our struggles, our growth, and everything in between. I'm sick again. I don't know why I get sick so often, but hopefully I'll get better soon. Today's episode is about maladaptive dreaming and the popular saying, Delulu is the only solulu. I see this everywhere on Twitter, on WhatsApp, on Facebook. People write this everywhere. I thought about using it as well. I've had a long history with maladaptive dreaming myself, and I'm still struggling with it. And I feel like the Lulu is the only solulu. It's kind of it's true, but I don't want it to be true. Because for someone who suffers from maladaptive dreaming, it feels like being delusional is the only way out. Uh, but we want to reconsider this. We want to think again. We want to analyze things. How do we get rid of this loop? So first, what is maladaptive dreaming? Maladaptive daydreaming. Maladaptive daydreaming occurs when a person engages in prolonged bouts of daydreaming, often for hours at a time, to cope with a problem. So you have a problem or whatever, you don't want to face reality. You want to escape your life. And the way you do this, the way you cope with it is that you go into your mind, you go inside, you start dreaming, you start imagining things, scenarios in your head for hours at a time. And the daydreams, they're often vivid and complex. They have complex plot. They elicit a great deal of emotion because these are the things that you can not live in reality. So instead, you do them in your imagination. And in the worst case, when a person becomes so consumed by their daydream, they might fail to complete work, or they might fail to actually live their reality and prefer living in their imagination over living in reality. So they will find it hard to do their daily tasks, to start to withdraw. They will start to withdraw from friends or family because they already have their imaginary world in their heads. They don't need reality. They're basically substituting imagination with reality, or they're substituting reality with imagination. And there are always triggers. Or before we get into the maladaptive dreaming is a coping mechanism that our minds adopt. And it's usually seen alongside other mental health orders such as anxiety, depression, ADHD, autism. But I'm not sure if this is a disease in itself, maladaptive dreaming. I checked on the internet, but it says maladaptive dreaming is not a mental disease. But I would say it's really harmful. And if you have this, especially in its severe form, I would consider it a disease for sure because it hinders you from performing your daily tasks. It hinders you from actually living your life. Moving on to triggers, number one trigger for me, and I believe for anyone who suffers from maladaptive dreaming, is music. And I remember like a couple of years ago, when I was searching whether music is haram or not and why is it haram and all that. It's like I did not understand. It's like I wanted to understand. I wanted a genuine answer. I wanted to understand why music could be haram. Like I can listen if the lyrics are good, if there's nothing wrong with the lyrics or with the video clip or whatever. Why is it still haram? And it turns out it's not just about music. It's how music affects us. what the mood it puts you in, how it affects your brain cells, how it triggers you to do things or not do things, how it um controls your emotions, how it puts you in a state of highs and lows depending on what you listen. Your emotions turn into a swing, coming up and going down. You're not emotionally stable. You're easily swayed by whatever the thing you're hearing, whatever music, whatever beat, whatever lyrics you're listening to. And this is not good. And this is something that our brains are not meant to endure. We are hurting ourselves this way. And I guess this is when I understand how music was bad for me and how music was bad generally, not just for me, for us all. How that how music is actually like heroin. And I'm not exaggerating. Music is like heroin. It is literally a drug. Um especially and I'll prove it to you. If you listen to music, try to quit for like a month or three, or if you're consistent, in listening to music, if you listen to music like every day, try to quit for like a month or two or three, and look at yourself. Look at the urge you will get to listen to music after like 5 days or 3 days of quitting. Look at how the feeling of excitement that you will get when you listen to a song on the way after a long period of quitting. Look at the fear of realizing that you're an addict, that you actually need this thing and that it keeps you excited, but at the same time you don't want to be an addict. You want to get rid of this addiction, so you have to suppress yourself, suppress your desires to listen to music. All this, and if you go on this journey yourself, you will realize that music is a drug. That's basically the drug of the 21st century that you will find with almost all of us, especially young people, teenagers, and all of us. They're always having their earphones uh, on, they're always listening to music. You go to a place, you go to a mall, you go to a salon, you go whatever. Even in the bus public transportation, you hear music. Music is everywhere. And there's this band that I used to love. Their songs were very ethereal, dreamy, perfect. So perfect for daydreaming. And I remember like I used to wake up or when I wake up in the middle of the night, uh, I open my phone and I listen to one of their music, and I feel like I'm on top of the world and that, oh my God, this mood is just perfect. Me, everyone is sleeping. I'm listening and I'm daydreaming to this song. Uh, and it's so, the beats are slow tempos and whispery vocals, and that's just the perfect ambience. And I'm soaked in this sense of nostalgia, longing, and emotional ambiguity. And I imagine things, or I leave emotions that do not belong to me at all, like someone who's hurt, or someone who has lost a dear friend, or who has, or whose heart is broken or whatever. It's like I don't experience these things in real life, but when I listen to these type of songs, it feels like as if I lived. And plus, of course, the daydreams, the scenarios you make in your head, it feels like, okay, I lived things that I didn't actually live in real life. Idealized romance, imagined heartbreak, fantasies of being deeply desired, missed, or mourned, and lots of internal narratives, meeting famous people, or even going to traveling around the world. So music is definitely a trigger. The emotional ambiguity, the sensual melancholy, the vagueness even of the lyrics, they all allow the listener to project their own narrative onto the music, and not just project their own narrative, but also live the narrative in presented in the music itself. Even if it's not hers, or if it's not theirs, uh, the narrative. And this kind of escapism can feel addictive. It's primarily, when you do this, it's primarily comforting and sometimes seductive, immersive, until it gets to the addictive part. And it can also intensify emotional pain, increase dissociation, and trap the listener in fantasy loops. Again, these are extreme cases, but why would someone let themselves be let himself be vulnerable to this until he reached an extreme case? And when I remember this, I think actually Islam is never restricted. Like sometimes I think to myself, I wish music was not haram, but now I'm actually grateful that music is haram, because alhamdulillah, we have guidance, we have something to tell us what's good for us, what's right for us, and what's not. And now I know I don't have to uh make experiments and blah 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 and see how it affects the brain and all that. Okay, of course all this is good. You do experiments or studies and brain studies and all that, but we have the ultimate truth, and it's telling us, okay, one, two, three. All we have to do is just follow one, two, three. We search, we know what the truth is, and we just go for it. That's it. And about that night I told you about, like I wake up in the middle of the night and I feel like I want to listen to this band, and um their songs, it matches the vibe. Like it really hurts me because like usually when you wake up, like instead of waking up in the middle of the night, for example, to pray qiyam, now I'm doing a totally different thing. I'm listening to music, I'm listening to nonsense, I'm listening to things that are not even real. I am not even in reality. I'm making up scenarios, or making up or imagining things that are not true. I'm escaping. I don't know what I'm doing in my life. I'm basically wasting time on nonsense, and it's really painful. This is not, it's not at all a relief. It's not, you're not recharging your battery. You're not doing anything. Like if you're justifying maladaptive dreaming, don't do this, because I don't see any benefits in maladaptive dreaming. I'm telling you, I used to be a hardcore maladaptive dreamer, but and it has um affected me in very bad ways. And you miss opportunities, you miss so many things because of it. And on top of that, of course, Quran, because when music, it's like I heard this before. They say music is um the food of the soul, or I'm not sure, was it music or was it reading, but anyway, let's say those who think music is the soul, is the food of the soul, this is actually correct, but this food is rotten. This is not the right food for the soul, because when you feed your soul with music, okay, it might soothe it. It might you might feel depressed, you might feel happy, you might feel uh whatever, depending on the music you're hearing. But this is not what your soul wants. Your soul wants your soul wants the right food, the truth. And when your soul is listening, or is reading, or is interacting with the truth, it feels tranquil, it feels serene. This is what you actually need. And I remembered they call akida. I remember someone calling it al fitra salima. So it means that when your God given instinct is not corrupt, is just is preserved, like you're preserving it from any temptations or any other dirtiness, your soul aligns more with the right aqidah and the right um, religious mentality. So you be more at ease, you be at peace because your soul is with the truth. And music hinders the truth because you're now filling your soul with music, which is corrupt food, rotten food. And now there's no space for Quran. So when you hear Quran, like I've had this time in my life, and I'm telling you, when I was an extreme addict to music, I could not listen to Quran or not as much as I listen to music. Like I loved listening to music, but I did not love listening to Quran as much. Can you imagine this? Like this is just horrible. And I don't want this and I don't want to do this to myself. But now I understand. So now that you understand this, don't let music take much space in your heart, or don't let it take a space at all in your heart. You can have control and you can let Quran take the greater space or take all the space in your heart. So yeah, that's it. I wanted to talk actually about movies and series since we're talking about music, so that will be an additional part, but I think I don't want to make this too long. So yeah, we can stop here. That's it. I hope you guys like the episode. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in the next one, inshallah. Take care.